Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Clay from Clay's Collections here, and it's been a while, but I'm back with another video. We have a nice haul video with various things. Of course, some good books, but also some other fun little items that I picked up at random places. And actually Cindy picked up a few things too as she's out and about. Now the garage sale season is starting in the great northern state of Minnesota. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much if you subscribe, like, comment. We appreciate all of that. And just a brief introduction. My name's Clay. I'm a part-time dealer in other people's stuff that they no longer want, that I buy and then hopefully find someone else who's willing to pay a little more for it. And yeah, make a little profit. I work full-time, and then I do this part-time as a fun little hobby to help pay for things that I enjoy. You know how it goes. But anyway, let's just get into the haul today. Hope everyone's doing well. Oh, and some of you astute viewers will notice that I'm not wearing glasses. I had cataract surgery 2 weeks ago in my left eye, and tomorrow I'm actually having cataract in my right eye. But it's too difficult to wear glasses nowadays. So I'm going without glasses at the moment. So, but yeah, no, this first surgery was a great success, and I'm looking forward to the second one tomorrow. So anyway, let's hop into this. I've stopped at various little sales that pop up occasionally, and one of them that I stopped at, I picked up this little plaque. And it's actually a Swedish plaque, and the artist is Aina, A-I-N-A, Stenberg. And she did a lot of these little Swedish figures in Swedish dress, historic costumes. And it's almost always a couple. But this is actually a hanging plaque. Some of them aren't set up that way. But what's interesting is some people there's only a couple that I found just like this. And they're listing them as the 1934 World's Fair plaques. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. They're still not worth that much money. But because we have a high Swedish population here in the Twin Cities area, I like picking that up when I can find it. So I picked that up to put down at the Pink Elephant, which is where I sell most of my goods. I don't have an online store anymore. I took it down when I started working full-time because I had to manage my time. So I stopped online selling and went to, well, I'd already had my booth at the Pink Elephant. So I just decided I was going to sell everything through that. And it's really worked well. This is Legrand's Manual for Stamp Collecting. Now, there was an estate sale that I went to, and it was sorry, I'm getting into stories, but it was the third day. And typically on the third day, it's 50% off everything, and anything over $50 is like a third off. Occasionally 50% or negotiable, but usually that's how they run around here. And so I go there, and I read the sign, and I was like a little confused because it said 1/3 prices below $50. And then it said 50% off anything over $50. So in my mind, I thought 1/3 off those things under 50 and 50% off those over 50. It was backwards from how I usually experience it. So I'm going through the whole sale thinking this. So I'm not picking up as much as I probably would have had I understood exactly what they were saying on the sign, because it wasn't really clear. But the 1/3, they were saying it's 1/3 the price if it's under $50. So like if it was $3, it was only $1. So rather than saying, 2/3 off, they did the so it was a little confusing for me. And I'm an accountant but again, because I went in with a certain mindset, and it was different than my mindset. So anyway, that's where I found the plaque, actually. And that's where I found this book. It's Legrand's Manual for Stamp Collectors. Now, this happens to be a first edition of this particular book. And it was published, it's actually a French author, 1896 is when this was originally published. And I can not find this first edition anywhere that's been for sale. I don't have a subscription to WorthPoint or any of those. It's not worth it to me. I don't sell enough to justify the outrageous monthly price. So I don't. But on AbeBooks, on eBay, on just general Google inquiries, you can find modern publications of it and library editions of, electronic versions of it, stuff like that. But I can't find any first edition. So I have no idea the value of this. The modern versions to buy a new one is like $40 for a new one of these. So I have no idea what this one's worth, honestly. And that's sometimes in the book business, that's what you run into. You run into these odd things that you don't know what they're really worth. Speaking of odd, I led myself right into this one. Odd and Peculiar, the most unusual name of a town or village or city in each of the 50 states. I just thought it was a great book. So I was like, oh, I got to get that. And so like this estate sale, they have $2 on there. So I paid 1/3 of $2 for that book. Foursquare favorites. Some of you may know I collect antique and vintage songbooks. So this goes into my collection. And they also have this one, the normal music course, the second reader part 1. This one was, I believe, from 1895, yeah. So that's a fun one. And, oh yes, I bought this one thinking it might have some value because it's in a box. And many times these in a box have better value than if they're not, but it does have a beautiful cover. But it's like a $10 book. And I'd never heard of it before. The Adventures of Some Guy. But that's okay. I like having odd and unusual books. And was this? No, this one I picked up at the bins at another trip. I haven't been to the bins forever. And some of these are from there. So Cindy went to a garage sale and picked me up some vintage hankies. I do well with vintage hankies. I don't sell them for a lot of money, anywhere from $2.50 to $5. Depending, like this one, I'll probably have $4 on it because it's new and it's vintage and it's Holland. This beautiful floral one, folded in a tie, kind of a tie style. And then there's this one also, which is quite dirty, so I'll need to wash it to see if the water stains will come out of it or not. But again, when I find vintage hankies for under $1, I buy them because I sell a lot and I do well with them. So, all right, Polish recipes, cookbooks. I do really well with ethnic cookbooks of various different types, Polish, Russian, Jewish, any of those types of books. Here's another one, Scandinavian Goodies. This was actually inside that book. Didn't realize it. I just thought it was a bunch of separate recipes, but this is actually just a little book on Scandinavian cooking. This was also inside of that book, Holiday Planner. Oh, this wasn't the bins. This was another sale that I went to. Yeah, that's right. It was in another estate sale. Stuban, this is their catalog from 1979 to 80. So it's kind of cool. You got lists the different types of glass pieces for the year. Again, it's not a high dollar item, $10 maybe. The Little Indian Weaver. It's a beautiful little book. It's a children's book, but it uses real photographs in here, Native American people. So Cindy picked this one up at a garage sale, Walt Disney Nomads of the North. She paid, that's right, a whopping 50 cents. She also found this one, which is really exciting. Teacher's edition of the Bible Dictionary. She paid $1 for this one. And this particular book is quite a valuable book. 1884 is the copyright date, but it's worth about $50 to $60. Can't beat that for a buck. And this one, 50 Centuries of Art. I like to have different art books. I've done well with art books. This particular one, 50 Centuries of Art. This is the first edition, 1954. So it just has different, talks about all the different art through all of the centuries, which is really cool. Then this, I just thought this was a cool book, The Eternal Light. It's actually a Jewish book from 1968, and it talks about the history of 4,000 years of Jewish inspiration and wisdom. So I thought it was a cool book. It does have a little crease in there from something sitting on it for a long time. I thought about trying to steam that and see if that'll come out, because some things come out with steaming. And then these are a couple of the items I picked up at that garage sale that I went to over this past weekend. This is like a hair tie. It's, you know, in a wire, but I just thought it was really kind of cool. Paid $1 for it. But they put the label, label on the back, handmade, on both ends of it. I just thought that was pretty cool. Plus, I thought it was really nice. Looked nice. All right. And then I saw this penguin. He's restoration hardware. He's silver plated, but he is extremely tarnished. And an odd thing about me, I love polishing silver. Most people hate it. I love doing it. I don't know why, it's very satisfying to me. So I will gladly polish this little guy up, make him look bright and beautiful. He's about a $20 item, but I paid $1 for him, so that's good. This was the ice bucket I found. Isn't this awesome looking? Very mid-century modern. It's a Bakari. It has different recipes on it for the different drinks you can make. It also has matching glasses. Now, they didn't have those at this sale, but they do have matching, you know, glasses. If you'd want to do that, you could find those and make a whole set. They came with the little ice tongs too. And then the last thing, one of the thrift stores I went to, I always go through their vintage book section. They have it behind the counter, so in my current eye state, I couldn't see. So I just asked them to give me different books, which is always kind of a hassle. And it's by nature not one of the things I like to do. But I do it there because I got some great deals. And so I asked for this one because I love the spine, and it's called The Perfumed Garden. Now, some of you may be familiar with that. I rang familiar in my head, but I didn't make the connection, which is this is actually the translated version of the Kama Sutra from Indian, from the original Indian document from like the 1500s, which talks about physical intimacy. Let's just put it that way. But this particular one is a very early edition. It was translated in 1886, I believe. Yes, 1886. And this one is the revised and corrected translation after the original first edition. But it is an early edition of this as well. So it's got some good value. I couldn't find this exact one anywhere, but a lot of these from this era are the $200 to $500 range. That was an amazing find. And at this thrift store, all of their antique books are $3.99. So that is what I found, folks. Kind of a fun haul. Hope you guys are doing well. We're doing well here, and good to see you, and we'll catch you next time.